Hello, hello.
Hey,
I am so sorry. I'm
that's
I'm having a real Gene morning where I tried to pack too much in. So I guess it's fitting that we're doing this interview now. Thank you for being flexible. That's super cool of you.
oh, no problem. Yeah. Thanks for willing to do this.
Oh, of course, of course. I'm happy to. Yeah, and again, thank you for being so flexible. I have my Steph South VO as like a backup email
Okay.
and and when you first emailed, I guess it was what, like 2
2
years
years
ago.
ago.
I was like, I might as well try. I might as well see if he's still interested. So I'm glad this works out.
Yeah. So I could just
Gosh.
I could just jump around then with questions and your
Cool.
career and all that.
Cool. That sounds great. Sweet.
So the first thing I can ask is do you have a special story of how you got into SAG?
Ooh, a special story. Okay, let's see. Do you know what? I think how I got into SAG was pretty boring. I booked a really small character in a video game, a SAG video game, and it was well, actually, okay, let me start over. So my very first uh VO job in LA was for Honda. It was a
Okay.
Honda Fit commercial and of course it was SAG and so what happens is they send you the or you have your Taft Heart lead, which
Right.
means you can do I think it's any amount of gosh, it's been so long. Any amount of voiceover jobs within like a 30-day window. And and so, yeah, I just had that one job, and, it literally said, like, 5 words, like, "Can it tell me I'm pretty?" It was all about, like, the Honda Fit can do all these things. It can fit so many people, and, it can do this and that, and it can fit a paddle board, or I don't remember all the stuff, and then, I was, like, the ditzy girl who's like, "Can it tell me I'm pretty?" And, that was my first SAG job, and then, it can be tricky to, like, I mean, in this career, it can be really tricky, to keep the SAG jobs coming, and so, it was a couple years, probably 2 years, before I got my next SAG job, and the next one was a union video game, and, yeah, and so I had to join at that point 'cause obviously that 30-day, um, window was well overdue, and so I went down to the SAG building and, filled out the paperwork and said, "Take my money," and the rest is history.
And
Yeah.
did you always mostly have a affinity for voiceover over live action?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So I got my degree in musical theater, and I planned on doing, like, the stage thing, going to Broadway and all of that, and, um I just was tired. I'm a homebody. Um, I love my nights and weekends, and so I still wanted to perform, but I wanted more of a like a 9 to 5-ish kinda
Yeah.
job, and I know, like, doing live action, sometimes you're working around the clock. It's, like, the crazy hours and yeah, voiceover just called to me, and my brother-in-law, was working on an animated feature at the time, and, um, he signed me and my husband onto the Sony lot, and, we got to sit in for a voiceover session, and that was it. That was like, "Okay, this is what I'm gonna do," and so, yeah, it's e every once in a while, I'm like, maybe I should give the live action world a try, but I'm just so content in the VO world.
And I guess your first major anime role would have been in the So I'm a Spider series.
Yeah, uh-huh, yeah, that was my first major one. I've done a lot of ancillary characters, and, so I'm a spider. That was, like, uh, the first big one that, I'm in every episode and more of a central role in that show, and, yeah, it's, it's been pretty cool. It's cool to be able to do, like, the full range of things, because I always thought of myself as, like, a character, like, well, and, of course, Faerun and So I'm a Spider is very charactery, but, like, I've always thought of myself as, like, the ancillary character, like, in theater, it was, like, I was, like, one of the I was in the chorus and wasn't one of the main characters. And so I think it's really cool with voiceover that um, you could be anything, and sometimes that anything can be one of the main roles. But yeah, that was my first one for sure.
Did you take the dubbing easier, or was it still hard to get used to?
I think because I have a musical background, it was a little bit easier for me. Um, Matching the lip flaps, it's very technical and very like there's a musicality to it. And so I mean there obviously is like a learning curve to everything, but I feel like my music background has really served me in that arena for sure.
Are you much of a fan of anime in general?
I'm not a super fan. I'm familiar with it. I watch it. I enjoy it, but I don't like really get into it. But my husband definitely is, and so he'll put on a show, and I'll be like, "What's going on? What's happening?" um, but yeah, so it's a world I didn't like wasn't as like I didn't know anime would be part of my VO journey, and now that I'm in it, I'm like, wow, I really really love this medium and feel really grateful to be a part of it.
Mhm. And related to the last thing you said, what do you think is the case where you've had to alter your voice the most significantly for anything?
Oh my gosh. So let's see. The last time I had to alter my voice, for well, like obviously with Jean, it's very similar. It's like Stephanie, just like calm down a little bit. um, but gosh, I mean Diablo 4 just came out. I am creatures in that. You'll hear me screaming and dying and all of that good stuff. Um, so that was definitely I had to alter my voice for that. Gosh, I'm trying to think like I feel like I do a lot of a lot of those creature sounds, a lot of, the non-human characters.
Mhm.
Um, and those are very far from this natural voice. Um, and then on the other end of the spectrum, like there's the cute creatures, like the babbly creatures. Oh my gosh, what's in Ninjala, there's the little mascot Gumchi, and I got to play Gumchi for they did like an little anime series for that game that you can find on YouTube, and that was just like gaga ba ba ga ba dee dee ga, like just gibberish, complete gibberish, doesn't make any sense. But adorable. So that was another altering one. And I recently in a video game and I can't talk too much about, but it's an established video game, and I play a chicken. So all I do is bark, bark, all the chicken sounds. So that's pretty voice altering, I'd say.
And do you have a particular process for boy voices as well?
Boy voices, well, I feel like with boy voices, especially because I'm obviously gonna be voicing kid boys, so like there's like the voice box of a child is a lot smaller than an adult, so I kind of pinch my cords. Excuse me, my voice is so tired from my earlier session. But I like pinch my cords so it's a little bit like I have to push harder to get my voice out, and then I lower it, and then I pucker my lips because I don't know, that's just what I do in my technique. But it's like kind of talking out of the side of my mouth, puckering my lips, and then that's how you get to some of the boys, and then I alter it from there. Like the nerdy boy is going to like have a little bit more of a plugged nose, and it's there's a bunch of tricks, but yeah, that's kind of my process. And then it just depends on, like I said, like the if it's a nerd or if it's a bully, it depends on the character's personality that informs it and gives me info to color the my standard boy voice into all these other different ones. Yeah, that's a really good question. I haven't been asked that one before, and I like it.
Oh, thanks. Do you also think that you have a preference for more drama projects over comedy, or
Ooh, That's a really good question. I don't think I've been asked either. Uh, it's funny. I think when I first started my VO journey, as far as like animation and video games go, I I lean toward animation. I think I feel or at the time felt a lot more comfortable being over the top or silly or like finding that the comedic beats. Um Over time though, that's kind of shifted shifted to more of a balance because love I love like the drama. I love the I love the drama. Um I love the groundedness and like I mean, you can find truth in every story, but I love when something's so grounded that I feel like it can I don't want to be too cheesy, but like it can enter into our hearts a little bit easier. We can connect
Yeah.
with these characters because life can sometimes be hard. And um yeah, so I think it's balanced over time. I still love comedy. I still love getting to play wild characters and even not wild characters, but like I love like a silly a silly storyline. But yeah, I think I also have grown to appreciate the more grounded projects as well. And I think a lot of that has been getting more comfortable with who I am and not feeling like I have to put on a character. And I think that was my approach for so long. Now it's like the character comes to me. Like what do I bring to this character? Um and so just like being myself and um finding the truth in my own experience combined with what this more grounded character has gone through or is going through. That was a very long answer to your question, but yeah, I would venture to say it's balanced.
It was related to that. What do you think the darkest headspace you've had to go for a role is?
Ooh, gosh. I mean, auditions, because auditioning, like we're auditioning so much every day, and there have been some really, really dark um, auditions. Um, as far as roles that I've booked, I mean, going back to Diablo 4, like that game is very, very dark, um, and to enter that world where like there's really not a lot of hope, and I laugh now, but like it's like, okay, now you're on fire. Death by fire. Like,
Mhm.
what is that like? And really having to enter that world of, okay, this is what it would be like. Or, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of what it was for. I can't remember what it was for, but it was like you're in a dungeon, you're all alone, you're desperate to get out, you hear something coming, um, some creature coming, you're scared. Um, that That was a really, really dark one. 'Cause yeah, you really have to enter that world essentially. Um, and usually what I like to do after I um have a really dark audition or session, is kind of give myself some reset time. I'll like take myself out to dinner or lunch or whatever, and depending on when the session is or when the audition, or when I've done the audition, I'll give myself a little like little dinner and shopping, like just to get through that. Obviously, like it's good to let my body work through the emotions and try not to like stifle them and stay in that one place because that can be really bad on our bodies. Um, but like let myself feel the emotion. I've definitely gotten to my car and cried a bit after sessions just to release the emotion. And and then yeah, go and like try to lift my spirits somehow. Um, I think meditation has been, I say I think meditation has been a very good tool for me. And just mindfulness, like letting myself feel the emotions instead of rushing past them, trying to ignore them. Um, I think that's really, really important. yeah, there have been a few really dark ones, um, and it's scary to let one's mind enter that place like willingly. Um, and I think like we're told as actors to like leave our stuff at the door if we're like if we've had a really bad day and then we have to go into a session, you don't want to bring that into the session. Um, and I think that can kind of uh, apply reverse with if you've had a really emotionally taxing session, you can leave it at the door. Thankfully, it lived in that booth while you're recording it. It didn't live, um, live with my experience, my real life experience. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good, good, good.
Well, and in terms of characters that you relate to or have the most affinity with, is it probably Jean?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, there's an animated project where I play a more do you know what? I was just gonna say a more nurturing character, but Jean's very nurturing. The mom of Mondstadt. No, I feel like I have this like this need to take care of people, to make sure everyone's good, to constantly like I'm such a workaholic. Um I blame my mom, not my mom, my dad and my grandmother for that, just because they were such workaholics. I think my dad still is. He's retired 4 times now. Um, he just loves working, and so yeah, I'm definitely a workaholic. I definitely want to take care of people. I'm really I think the Taurus in me makes me extra loyal. I'm a very, very loyal person like Jean. And Jean's bookish. She's kind of a homebody. She doesn't like to go out. And I'm all of those things for sure. The voice director Chris Fiala, he is the casting director and voice director. He always said like I didn't choose you for the roles. The roles chose you guys, because he says we're all very similar to the roles that we play. And I remember really early on, I hopped onto Chris's stream. He was playing Genshin, and I hopped on and he was like asking some of us like, "What's your favorite ice cream color?" And I was like, "Vanilla," because you can just like add so much to it. And he was like, that's such a Gene answer." I'm like, "But yeah, vanilla, like you can add Oreos to it, you can add chocolate chips to it, you can do so much with it. But it's like a good strong base." And I think like there's just so many ways uh that I relate to Gene. And I remember when I got the audition, it was a packet of auditions. It was, a lot of the characters you very first meet when you start playing. And pardon me, drinking water in the middle of a sentence. So it was a lot of the characters you first meet when you start the game. Amber, Lisa, Jean, obviously Paimon, Venti. I could probably pull it up. I feel like there are a couple male characters in there as well. Um, and I, I read through all of them. I did my best, my best Paimon, if you could even imagine. and, and Amber, and, I read on the ones that I felt like I could do. And I got to Jean and I read through the breakdown about her. And I was just like, ah, I love this role. And I spent more time on my audition with her just because I connected so much and I just loved playing her, at least in the audition. And so, um, and I remember it was all about how she loves to read and also like she doesn't want, I think it was, gosh, if I'm remembering the sides, it was like she was reading and daydreaming and someone walks in and she's like, "Oh, I'm working." And that's like always been me. It's always what I do. And, and yeah, so there's just a lot of ways I feel like I relate to Jean. Um, I'm obviously like a little more hyper than she is in my own life, but I think in those like quiet moments, I'm definitely a Jean. and I'll like I'll have a busy day and I'll be like I'll get a like a booking or have a meeting come up and I'll be like absolutely I can squeeze it in this time. Like I'm having to learn to give myself time off.
Mhm.
Jean doesn't give herself time off and I don't give myself time off and it's something I'm learning.
What have
Yeah.
been your favorite interactions that she has with other characters so far?
Oh gosh, I I will always just adore the summer. My gosh, why my brain is blank. The summer event. Why can't I think of what it's called? Um, when she's going to with Clee and Lisa's like go like I here's your bag. I've packed it for you. And um and I love that she's so stiff, like always getting after Clee, no fish blasting, and um, as the story goes, like or as the story, goes, yeah, moves. She's finally like ready, like, okay, Clee, let's go fish blasting, and I love that so much that like little by little, Clee's wild and recklessness is helping Jean to open up and be a little bit more fun. Um, I think that's one of my favorites. I mean, I always love I always love, when she interacts um, with Lisa and D-Luke and, the other nights, but, like, I think the summer event with Clee, I think that was just my absolute favorite, just getting to see her being forced on vacation and then kind of realizing she enjoys it.
You probably have a number of single favorite lines. That's her too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I've always loved "Let the Wind Lead." I think, like, the gene in me, I I just want to, like, everything to go right, and I'm, like, holding so tight, like, 'cause I want it to be perfect. Definitely a perfectionist like Jean, and I feel like "Let the Wind Lead," it's like I almost feel like it's a mantra for myself as and in a way, maybe Jean too, like, "Okay, let the wind lead," like, "You do what you need to do on a very night, and let the wind guide you, and you don't have to, like, control so much." Um, I I'm trying to think, what are some other ones? Like, I feel like when I sign autographs, I often write "Let the wind lead" or "My honor and loyalty lie with you." I love that one, just because Jean is so loyal and I find myself to be a loyal person, like I said earlier. Um, what else? What else? I actually have it bookmarked. Um, the Gene voice lines that I always have to refer to because I'm like I have the memory of a goldfish. Oh, this is the one. The line. I always like the line about uh like, I do wish or what is it? Let me find it. "It's been ages since I had pizza at Cat's Tail, if only they delivered."
Yeah.
I just I love pizza. I love it when I don't know, it's just such a silly one because it's like, okay, Jean loves her pizza. I love my pizza. I mean, and there's also, like, the one about, what is it? About D-Luke, how they both had turtles. Let's see. Oh, "As the wind continues to blow, so too shall I continue to fight." I feel like the resilience, I've always loved that one because she's so resilient and, like, she's going to do what she's gotta do in, uh, helping to, keep Mondstadt protected.
Mhm.
I love that.
Was it also pretty general too when the Fire Emblem audition came up?
You know, I with the Fire Emblem audition, it was a little bit different. The studio that records all the Fire Emblem stuff, they called me in for an audition, and they gave me when I got there, I didn't know anything about it and about this role, and they gave me the sides and were like, take a minute, find the voice, and then when you're ready, let's hop in the booth. And just looking at Freya, like, she's so serious and uh, and has a very weird feeling about her brother, but like we just we just like ignore that. But with Freya, like, um, it was just trying to find like kind of this dark villainous quality to her, and so I just brought her very low and very somber. She doesn't do too much expression beyond this point, and yeah, and I read on that role for the audition, and um really loved Freya. I love getting to play a villain, someone who's darker, um, uh, and more brooding in her personality, and um, so that was a very different experience, going in person and not knowing at all what I was going to be reading on. Um, so yeah, very very different, but I adore playing Freya, um, and I love that she's also a very loyal person as well. I think there's some similarities for sure. Freya's just a little bit more moody.
Mhm. I'm sure it was fun, especially just this past spring when she got the alt with Allegra's character.
Yes. It was so funny. When I was recording it, I was just like, "This is so fun," and I didn't know until Allegra tagged me on Twitter that we were reading with
Yep.
each other, and I love the puns. I love like how silly it is, but it's still Freya. She's still serious. So yeah, that was a really really fun one. Um, I love any chance to dress up. That's so great.
Have you played Heroes at all?
I haven't. No, I'm too much of a gene. I am so busy all the time. Like uh, when when the pandemic was still in full force, I had a little bit more time, and so I was playing Genshin. Um, and yeah, like that was like one of the only games that and I played some Animal Crossing for some, you gotta in those times we needed anything that was cheery. It made me feel productive when the world was shut down. That's what it was. But yeah, I feel like I'm just so busy that it's hard for me to like slow down and actually play a game. And I mean, even gosh, ask my husband, like he'll be like, "Do you want to watch a movie?" And I'll be like, "Sure." And I'll have my laptop on my lap and I'm like watching and I think part of that is that I do have ADHD. I was diagnosed in the last couple of years. Late diagnosed female for the win. So many of us. But like I feel like I like to be working on something while I'm doing something, and I feel like with a game I really have to like focus my attention on what's going on, and it is great because I'm you're playing as you're going through the story, but I think my mind is always preoccupied with work and stuff. And so whether it be my own voiceover work or I help um, run this network for working voice actors, where we do like workshops and stuff with casting directors and agents and so I'm always working on that stuff after hours and like sending out emails like, "Hey, will you come teach a class?" or "Here's the details for the class." And um so yeah, always working. There's always something back here being like being like, "You have to get this done, get that done." So yeah, gaming doesn't happen as much as I would like. Um but I do enjoy watching it. I will put something on YouTube and watch as I'm also multitasking, working on something. So, yeah.
Well, it seems like just like a lot of other people in the Genshin cast that you're friends with a lot of them too. So
Yeah, yeah, it's gosh, it's such a great cast. Uh, Kelly Baskin, who's the voice of Amber, and Brittany Cox, the voice of Fischl. We're we're really good friends, and just adore each other. And same with like, I mean, everyone in the cast. Christy, Kate, and I are friends. Christy's the voice of Chi Chi, and I mean, I think the VO community is, I mean, it's big. There's a lot of people in it, but it's also small in that we all know each other and respect each other's work um and also our friends. And so yeah, it's pretty fun. I know this last weekend it was what was it called? Like the Water Lantern Festival, and
Yep.
it was down in Whittier, and a bunch of them went to it, and I was going to, but I was like, ugh, I need a night off. Like I've been working all week, and I gave myself a night off socially. I should have been social though, now that I'm thinking about it, because I stayed home and worked. Had to play catch up on a couple things. So, but yeah, they all went to do that and had a great time, and it looked really incredible. But yeah, it's pretty fun that we all know each other, we all love each other, um, and it's also been really fun because they've been casting the casting net wider, and so there are people in the cast who live in, I'm thinking of Christina Costello, who lives
Yep.
in the Boston area, and so getting to like expand my circle of the people I love, it's been really really wonderful. It's
So is there anything else that's upcoming or part of you can safely talk about, or
I wish. Yeah, I just always like, I always like, saying like more Mondstadt. Bring us back to Mondstadt. And so hopefully there will be more of that. But yeah, NDAs are the name of the game, and um, yeah, I think I just think it's really cool how Genshin just keeps growing and growing, and I feel really grateful to have been a part of it for as long as I have, and I think there's still a lot more coming too. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. But, yeah.
well, my final question is always asking, what do you want your legacy to be?
Ooh, oh, that's a big one. Oh my gosh. What do I want my legacy to be? I mean, I think as a just as a human, like that Stephanie was a human who cared, a person who loved deeply and was fiercely loyal, um, who gave her all in sessions and gave brought life to the characters that she played. Um, but yeah, I think ultimately like Stephanie was kind and treated people equally um and fought for the underdog and was loyal. I think that would be it. But yeah, as a voice actor, I think I'd love to be remembered as someone who really brought to life a lot of these roles. Um, yeah, that's a hard question. Ooh, I'm gonna think more on that one. But yeah, I think that's what it would be. Or maybe like Stephanie Stephanie had a crazy wide range playing characters from Freya and Jean all the way to all the way to insane monsters and crazy creatures and adorable creatures too. Adorable and um scary creatures alike.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that we still got to do this.
Yeah, thank you so much. No, this is great. I'm really glad that I that I found your email. I felt so bad. I was like, well, if he's still interested, so this worked out really well. Yeah, thanks for replying so quickly too, and replying to my main email address.
Yeah. Well, have a good rest of your day then.
You too. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it, and thank you again for being flexible. I'm so sorry that I was late.
Oh, sure problem.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.